Ready?
Okay.
Get serious.
All right. No mai whakarongo mai to my next guest. Back in studio once again, we've got the big dog, Eugene Bareman. Good to see you, my guy.
Yeah, thanks for having me again. I
Again?
think second time or third
Yeah.
time. I don't know.
Third, non-officially, but second time of actually releasing. I will let the viewers know that when I first started here at the TAHI, I didn't quite know the ins and outs of the production studio, and so we recorded an entire interview with Eugene on like a special day that I'm not usually in office, and I didn't record the audio, so that one's on me.
That was my best interview too.
Yeah, that was such a good interview. Honestly, it still burns me to this day that I didn't get that audio, but that's all right. We've got another opportunity here to sit and yarn once again. You got a lot going on as usual.
Yep.
Shall we start with? We usually talk when you're here in studio about Walk Without Fear Trust, but we'll start by introducing that. What is Walk Without Fear?
Yeah, I mean the Walk Without Fear Trust. I mean, that was something that was born out of a bit of tragedy, as you know, like how our very close team member and friend, Fo Waki, passed away, and he died as the result of a coward punch. And through that tragedy, obviously, we all felt a certain way, or the team felt a certain way, and we kind of got together and we wanted to do something about that. And we, at the time, quite a few years ago now, we weren't sure what that was going to be. But what it's ended up being is a charitable trust that is kind of leading the way in terms of like advocating and bringing awareness to like the coward punch. And basically our goal is to cancel the coward punch. That's like the phrase that we're using, cancelling the coward punch. And that's through various like means. Obviously there's law change in Parliament. There's an amendment bill about to be read very soon. So I'm hoping that the politicians vote that in and make the right decision on that, and we'll be pushing them to do that, obviously. And then the other big thing is just, I think, possibly, arguably bigger than law changes, just our work on just awareness and making the public aware of that, firstly, this crime exists, and then letting them know how prevalent it is, because it's happening every week, every weekend, up and down the country. And just letting them know like how abhorrent it is, how heinous it is, and and that we need to like really change our attitude around it, and as a society, kind of like look down on it like we do like on other certain crimes that in society we really look down on and they're really frowned upon. We need to put it in that category.
Yeah, shame it more
Yeah,
massively. And I love that. By means of doing this, you guys are going out to different certain schools, sitting with media, obviously just trying to get that kōrero out there a little bit more and make sure the kaupapa is pushed more, especially to the young people, I feel like. Why do you think young people are sort of an important part of this, and educating them makes a difference?
No, because obviously when you're young, you're still kind of like developing who you are as a person. And they're also, the young people are also going through a stage in their life where they can be influenced, and they can, and at the stage in their life that they can be influenced, down the right path or the wrong path. So we're trying to like kind of grab the bull by the horns and lead them down the right path, and teach them about this crime. And in our talks with schools, we obviously talk about a lot of preventative measures and identifying situations and getting your way out of situations, and what to do if you are confronted with a hostile situation. So that's all part of our school talks, but they're just the key group that we need to target, because they're on the way up, right? They're on the come up. So obviously we're not just aiming at them, we're aiming at like a society in a general, but they're who we're targeting when we go into the schools. And basically our cause is about raising funds so we can get our message to a much wider group up and down the country, because we're only a few people, and our message has got some real cut through with the young people. Like I mean, you know the boys personally, like for whatever reason, Sometimes I can't see it. But they're really, really influential.
Crazy that, eh?
Yeah, and I don't know what it is. I haven't really pinpointed what that is. But I think it's the fact that they're real people.
Yeah.
You know, they're real models as opposed to, let me say, like role models.
Yeah.
You know, like
influencers. They're not.
Yeah,
influencers.
there's a lot of like sports stars and stuff, and they kind of get the choker chain put on them and stuff, and you see one side of them because they're obligated to act a certain way because that's that's how they get paid. But as you know, like Dana White, for instance, he doesn't put that choker chain on anyone. Everybody gets to be themselves and be genuine.
Sometimes too much themselves.
Yeah, sometimes. But I think the young people see that, and that's what makes them so influential, that they see that they're real people, and it's all like they wear their heart on their sleeve, and they see it all, like warts and all, if you like. So I think that's why they identify them, and when they talk, man, they really listen. Like the feedback we've had from schools has been massive. Like when the boys talk and they advocate for a behavioural change, the schools are genuinely seeing the kids almost immediately change their behaviour, which is like, it's not normal. Normally you get a whole lot of role models that they come in and they have a pretty stereotypical cliche message, but it's just like half an hour off school, you know, or an hour
kids
off school.
tune out,
yeah,
then,
100%.
Attention spans are short.
Yeah, so we know the boys have got an important message, and we know that people listen to them. We just need to scale it and get it out there more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. And I think it's like, when you look at the evolution of MMA, it being niche in its own right, and then it becoming more popular after things like The Ultimate Fighter.
Yeah.
Once you get to see behind closed doors what the people are behind the brands and behind these fights, like obviously we don't really get to talk to people during a fight, but they're expressing themselves in another way. Then when you add on like the talk or them speaking to the audience and the fans especially, I feel like it's even more relatable because they're like, oh, this person does something that's seen as very tough and very quite going through adversity on a world stage, on international television, all that sort of stuff. And now we get to talk to that person and see what kind of person they are. And then they realise that these are just people with personalities and lives and having gone through tragedies just like everyone else.
Yeah. I mean, the greatest PR company in the world is the UFC.
Yeah.
If you want to know someone's story and you want to delve deep into what someone's life looks like outside of fighting, the UFC will dive deep and let you know who people are. And so I think that's why the boys have such great cut through. And that's why we want to get our message out, and we want to get people winning this BMW.
Yeah, let's talk about this raffle that we've got going on.
Yeah. So
Limited edition.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a BMW. It's a real car nerd thing, but it's a BMW M4 CSL. You've got to mention the letters CSL, because that takes it to another.
He probably knows what that means.
Yeah.
I don't.
That takes it to another. Apparently, that takes it to another stratosphere. Apparently.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's crazy. Like, it's a $341,000 car that we're trying to get rid of. It's only $50, and obviously the funds are coming to the Walk Without Fear. Trust.org is where you can get your tickets, and all the money is going to a great cause, and it's mainly like the overarching thing that's going towards is cancelling the coward punch, and that's what it's going towards. So yeah, Walk Without Fear, Trust.org, go there and grab your tickets.
He's
Appreciate
been trained
it.
well. He's been trained well. No, it's
now.
fantastic. Yeah, so there's a lot of we're going to be making some content around this as well, which is quite exciting. I think that's another added element of the campaign for this raffle for a car. Obviously, you can buy tickets to get in the draw to win the car itself, but you can also kind of follow the journey along the way while this raffle is going, and we can follow it at Walk Without Fear Trust on Instagram. Is it?
Yeah, it's all Walk Without Fear
Yeah.
Trust on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, even like Twitter, or what do they call Twitter now? X.
Yeah.
Every platform, we've got every platform, YouTube and stuff, we've got it all covered, so you can follow us on there. And obviously we're trying to keep people engaged. Like, we got prizes coming out every week, 2 or 3 prizes, and constant content just constantly rolling out.
Yeah.
Some insane content.
We will try not to give too much away, but trust me when I say you want to be following those accounts 100% and following this whole journey throughout the raffle, and obviously see who wins. But the fact that there are other prizes and very like one of a kind type prizes, like from Israel's fight kit to certain like shout out videos, things that you probably money can't buy. So definitely keep in touch with that and check out what Walk Without Fear is doing. Which is exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Israel gave away his fight kit, which was crazy.
That's crazy.
Kai's giving it one way. I sold a pair of Israel's gloves overseas that he lost in for $50,000. So, like,
He lost it.
and so he's giving away a lot of his stuff that he generally walked out that I know is worth.
There you go. Do a quick
tens of thousands of dollars, and
quick grab scout at his house.
All people have to do is buy a $50 ticket at walkwithoutfeartrust.org, and you can win that. Maybe you can on-sell it.
Yeah. Probably don't. I'd hold on to it at this point. Yeah.
It'll go up. All that kind of stuff goes up in value. So if you're the type of person that doesn't need quick money, then hold on to it.
So it's very exciting. We're loving what you and the boys are doing over with Walk Without Fear. But let's divert and digress to something coming up this weekend as well. Obviously, you're a busy man, but we've got Arsenal X this weekend. Can you tell us why Arsenal X itself is a little bit more unique in comparison to other fight shows?
Yeah, I mean, Arsenal X, obviously, Jason City and King of the Ring are promoting that. Arsenal X, I love Arsenal X.
Love it.
Because Arsenal X just brings something unique, right? Like, it's the mixed rules fight. So each round, you fight a different combat rule set. So it could be Muay Thai, kickboxing, boxing, and MMA. And kind of, depending on the conditions and the agreement with the other fighter, it could be a mix of all of those, or it could be 2 or 3 of those. So it's also like an excellent way for people that are on the verge or just dipping their toes into MMA, especially from a stand-up background, to kind of have a crack at MMA. They only have to do 1 round, and the other 2 rounds are either boxing, kickboxing, or Muay Thai.
Yeah.
And it just gives them a chance to experience a little bit of MMA without actually the full commitment to 3 5s or 3 3s of MMA. So I think it's really cool. It's really exciting. Like, it's just fun for the spectators, something different.
Yeah, definitely fun for the spectators, but I also feel like, as much as I've never had an Arsenal X fight, as per se, there's been a lot of times I've been sparring and maybe there's some boxers there and then there's some kickboxers and then I go do MMA. Obviously, in the one day, you can do a bunch of different sports, and I think a lot of people don't realise how day and night that is and how much changes you have to adjust in a short amount of time. So on the spot, and for people to be doing this as a fight, and so therefore there's like a kind of ability to win or lose is quite interesting. Do you think it's like helping improve, I guess, the different abilities of the sport, or?
100%. Like but the other thing it's doing, like, it's just bringing, like, it brings a little bit of shine to each one of those sports and individually. Normally, like, when you have King of the Ring, it's only kickboxing, right?
Yeah.
But now you've got boxing, MMA, and Muay Thai being showcased. So all those sports are getting a little bit of limelight at the same time. But, like, that's what's interesting is the challenge, as you know, from going in from sparring and a boxer and then a kickboxer and then you're doing an MMA round. That's very, very tough. Like, everything's different. The shots coming at you are different. The timing's different. The range is different. But that's what makes it exciting, because it's such a challenge for the fighters, and I think the fans know that. And also, it's in a cage, which is really cool, which is really different. So that's something different for the fans as well. It's just an exciting night, and there's always a lot of finishes, I feel, at Arsenal X, and I think that's due to, obviously you're wearing the small gloves, most of them, and a lot of them aren't used to wearing the small gloves, so it takes them a while to adjust, but it's an exciting night for fans, for sure. Yeah,
you can see who sort of is favouring maybe the kickboxing, whatever, too, because that gets exposed when it comes down to the round that you're maybe the least experienced at, which is quite interesting. You got to navigate how you're going to get through the MMA round as a kickboxer or something like that. Or vice versa. But we've seen the likes of Aaron Toe, Nikori Likingi, Jenna Fabian, a few of our great fighters at CKB already have competed in this interesting and unique kind of fight show. Who do we a couple of names do we have this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, CKB's got a couple of young guys like Dan Brown and Giannis, what's his surname, Bowden?
Bowden, yep.
Yeah, Giannis Bowden.
He's been there longer than I.
He's they're fighting this weekend, and they're just like new professionals, so they're just like dipping their feet into the Arsenal X rules. But Arsenal X got some really good fights on. Like they got that Tecumseh Armstrong.
Yeah.
And he's like a bit of a fight sport veteran, and he's like super exciting, right? Like he's always going to come in and put on a show. Mm-hmm. And then they got the young guy that I was like very, very impressed with, Hayden Crawford.
Oh yeah.
Who the first time I saw him was when he was fighting Blood Diamond in the final of King of the Ring, the last one.
Yeah.
And I watched his fights before that, and he was impressive for someone who's young in the sport, doesn't have much experience. He's got some really good skills and had really good like mentality too, like that young energy. You know?
I missed that.
Just wanted to kill everyone. So like he's exciting.
Yeah.
There's still there's young up and comers. There'll be some great fights. Like if you're a fight fan in New Zealand, and I'm talking even if you're a fan that kind of exclusively watches UFC, and the boys on UFC in New Zealand, you want to go and watch these guys. You're going to want to go and watch the young guys before they make the big time. And there's plenty of those guys in this show.
Big time. That's exciting. So this Saturday, the 13th of September, down at Event Finder Stadium, Arsenal X, promoted by the amazing Jason Suddy and Anna Suddy, obviously well known for their time with, they're still running, King of the Ring. So you know you're going to get a fantastically professionally run promotion. You get great fights and something really unique and exciting that keeps the action going. So 6 p.m. this Saturday, the 13th, get down to Event Finder and grab your tickets online, I'm sure. We will finish off with, of course, why not add more stuff to the mix of your already big plate of stuff, but we've got a big headliner over in Perth coming up, UFC over in September 28th, which also just happens to be somebody's birthday. But we've got Carlos headlining, which is fantastic, in Aussie. How do you feel about that?
Yep. Like that's just pretty typical what happens on this side of the world. Like there's ordinarily if there's like a fight event on our side of the world, there's a big City Kickboxing involvement. And to be honest, like this started with just Navajo. Yeah. And then all of a sudden it just grew out of control. Like like now Carlos is the main event, and then now Brando and Cameron are making their debut. So it went from like a nice, easy kind of morning in Perth with Navajo, where I could probably fly back on the same day and be in New Zealand. I could be back in bed by like 8 o'clock in New Zealand after Perth. It's just turned into some sort of just the usual animal that it is. But I'm feeling confident. Like Carlos is like training really well. He's really like up for it. Like the type of athlete that Carlos is, and all these guys that get into the top 15, like they can just flick the switch, right? This is what they're like. The reason they are in the top 15 and they're one of the best in the world is because when you put them in these moments, they can come true. Yeah. Like they can answer the bell. They can like
step up to the
actually step up. Yeah, that's the difference between, quite often that's the difference between athletes who get to the high level but never really cut it and the ones that break through, right? Yeah. And Carlos has proven that he can step up, and so he's like looking really, really keen.
Yeah, fantastic. He's coming for a great win against Jan Bohovic, which was phenomenal. Obviously putting him in a much higher position up in the rankings, and like you're saying, just every time he needs to show up and gets challenged, he steps up to the occasion and finds a way, which is incredible. But we will also kind of shine light on the two most recent signings for the UFC from City Kickboxing, both Cam Rowson and Brando. I guess two different ones, but we'll start with Cam's recent fight on the Contender Series, and not finally, but a success after a bit of an arduous journey.
No, Cam, like no one deserves to be in the UFC more than Cam. Like he's clearly the best middleweight in our region and has been for like a number of years, and he's had opportunities to be in the UFC, and they just things happen, you know, like. His first spell over in the Contenders, he kind of got turned around, if you like, because he had a spot in his brain, which ended up being nothing. But at the time, that was deemed too risky until they found out what it was.
For listeners, like basically you get an MRI on your brain, and if it comes back with anything, they kind of flag it, and since they flagged Cam's, he wasn't even able to compete, and it was such a short turnaround.
Yeah. And
It's
then,
so unfortunate.
Yeah. And then the second time around, like, he got matched up against just a strange freak of a human being.
Literally.
Yeah. Who, like, basically his whole game was about trying his best not to get himself in the UFC. But unfortunately, he dragged Cameron into that as well.
Literally.
So it was very, very strange. But he basically, I mean, hindsight is great, right? Because now you can see that Cameron by far has performed the best against that guy than anybody he's ever fought.
Yeah.
Cameron got up several times. Cameron hit him, but just the type of game that the guy had where he didn't want to open up. I mean, we can all play that game.
Everyone can do that.
But the problem is it's not within the rule set. So
This is not exciting in any way, shape, or form.
yeah, so that kind of shut Cameron down. But I mean, to be fair to the UFC, they kind of knew that and they gave him another opportunity. And then Cameron shone in his next opportunity. He got the finish, and after many, many years camping over here in Auckland, he came before you, eh?
Oh, a couple of years before me, but
Yeah.
Cam is originally based in Sydney in the Northern Beaches, and moved over here quite a few years ago to chase that dream. And by quite a few, I'm talking I want to say 2018, 2019.
Yeah, far out.
It's been a while, so he's been pushing at this for a long time.
Yeah. But yeah, thoroughly deserves it.
Yes.
And, I'm excited to see him, at the highest level in the world.
Yeah, quick turnaround for him too. Obviously, just coming back off the Contender Series and then jumping straight into a UFC debut on the 28th of September, but also nonetheless ready for it, like we're saying. And then our other signing, Brando, who hasn't actually, also another Aussie that's moved from Adelaide over to Aotearoa and moved to CKB to chase the dream. But our first ever heavyweight, which is quite exciting, something a bit different.
Yeah, I don't really. Honestly, I didn't really think of that until he mentioned 1,000 times on his Instagram and stuff. I'm the first heavyweight. I was like, well, that is actually a true fact. Stop mentioning it 1,000 times on every interview, on every Instagram post. But yeah, I actually that didn't even cross my mind. But
I didn't think of it because I also sometimes see him as a light heavy because he's always with Tyson and that. But he's not. He's very obviously doesn't weigh light heavyweight.
The guy's a brute. He's huge.
Literally.
He's told me about his light heavyweight dream, but that's nothing. That's just a dream. But again, another guy who came over and just hit the mats and just hit the grind and just had a go, and he saw that obviously there's a bit of a pathway at CKB, and just wanted to be around other athletes that had been high achievers and just kind of followed them and put his head down and worked, and then now he's got his opportunity. He's a real talent. He's
super talent.
Mate, he's completely represents what people kind of deeming the new age of these heavyweight fighters, where they're moving around like they're more middleweights, like the Cyril Gans and the Tom Aspinalls who are fighting for the title. He's in that mold. He's just athletic and just moves like he's he's not 120 kilos.
Yeah.
So he's insanely athletic, and I think he can do some damage in the heavyweight division in the UFC. So he has big expectations, and I'm expecting big things as well.
Yeah, good. Yeah. Put the pressure on.
He handles pressure well.
But I think that's what he works the best. But yeah, so that's super exciting. A lot coming up. We've obviously, just to summarise, we've got the Walk Without Fear Trust raffle going on at the moment. Arsenal X this weekend, and then of course up ahead at the end of the month, September 28th, we've got the UFC with Carlos Solberg, Navajo Sterling, Brandon. What's his last name?
Brando Pedicic,
that's it, Croatian, and Cam Rouston. So make sure you tune into all of those things. As per usual, Eugene, it's always a pleasure. Thanks for coming in.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Cheers.